Is an episode of the Brian Brawdy Show, and listener discretion is strongly advised. Because if you're easily triggered, outraged, offended, maligned, mortified, insulted, or otherwise verbally injured, if you're constantly looking for a bubble, a safe space, some training wheels, or some water wings muffin to get through your day, take it up with a therapist. I'm not your shrink.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Brawdy Show. It's time to mortal up.
Good evening. It's just 20, let's see if it's 7, that'd be 24, 25, 26 hours away from the greatest moment in the history of broadcast television. This might be the greatest moment since Plato's allegory of the cave, where shadows are dancing on the wall of the cave because of a fire. This might be the greatest moment in all of broadcast history. Very fired up. Of course, I'm talking about the presidential debates coming up tomorrow, 9 o'clock Eastern, 9 p.m. Eastern, so 24 to 5 to 6. Let's see how good I am at math. 26 hours away from the greatest moment. I want to thank Kathy, got me some chicken wings. I'll be getting some Funyuns. I like Diet Coke. I think Diet Pepsi's overrated, I got to tell you. So I'll be sitting down. We're going to be doing the show tomorrow night and then getting ready for just the circus that's going to be the first ever debate between the President Trump and Xi Biden. It's going to be great. Let me say hello before I toss it to Wayne. Let me say hello to Jennifer. Jennifer, nice to see you. Thank you so very much for joining us on the countdown of the presidential debates. Of course, I'm talking about the Brian Brawdy Show. We will be here doing our show tomorrow night, just 2 hours before the main event. But before I get into it tonight, we're going to be talking about Will Swim. The picture that Wayne put up for the thumbnail that you've seen out everywhere in all the ads and over on YouTube and everywhere else. Will Swim, I shot this picture in the immediate aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. Hurricane Katrina came in. This is East Bay, St. Louis. Hurricane Katrina came in, took the bridge right away. This was all that was left after Hurricane Katrina blew in. So when I'm thinking of the obstacles that you and I are confronted by, especially when we think, oh, the road is paved, oh, there's a way to get there, oh, we'll make it work, oh, this, oh, that, then I go, well, what happens if all the best made plans of mice and men, if you will, what happens at that point if you can't go the way that you know, the way you're always been able to count on? Then we'll swim, right? We'll wade, we'll float, we'll walk in the beginning if we can, but if it gets too much, then we'll swim. Oh, Jennifer, you love Diet Pepsi? I don't know. It's probably because I've drank Diet Coke for so long, but here's the thing. It's really spicy barbecue sauce on the chicken wings, right?
Hey,
and I'll have some. Yes, sir.
Just giving you a heads up, I got issues here on the technical side. We're getting a bad echo.
You're getting a bad echo.
Yeah, hold on. I think I'm fixing it now.
Okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you very much, Wayne. So, Jennifer, sorry, bad echo and all. You love Diet Pepsi, do you? To be honest with you, ever since the brain surgery, they cut all of the nerves to my tongue to get to the tumor, so I can't taste much of anything. So, Jen, if you ever have me over for dinner, you can just serve styrofoam packaging peanuts because I won't be able to taste the difference. So it'll work out. It'll work out just fine for you and me. And you go, Brian, what do you think of the hors d'oeuvres? I'll go, oh, they taste fantastic. So for all the people out there that love Diet Pepsi, my apologies. I'm just a Diet Coke kind of guy, I guess. I can't tell. Maybe Coke needs rum. It needs Captain Morgan's, damn it, right? I'm with you, Jennifer. It absolutely, right? A little bit of the captain in you. It absolutely needs some rum. I just like Captain Morgan's. And maybe that's it. You know what, Jennifer? If they came up with a rum that worked with Diet Pepsi, then maybe I would be a Diet Pepsi fan. I'm really not sure, but I like the Diet Coke. In any event, getting ready for tomorrow night's debate. Is this going to be great? I cannot wait. This is better than like Vikings. Let me just say this. I think this could possibly be better than James Spader in The Blacklist. Now, I know you're thinking, Bri, you're going to pick something other than James Spader in The Blacklist. I know it was a tough decision, but it could very well be better than The Blacklist. It could also, hello, Brian, let me say hello. Click to the big B. I was just saying, it could be better than The Blacklist, and most certainly a combination of The Blacklist and the Vikings, which is the only two things I ever watch on TV. This debate is going to be fantastic, and I simply can't wait. We're looking forward to being with you tomorrow in a couple of hours leading up to the debate, and then we'll go from there. Brian, hello, right back at you. So, here's what we're going to do this evening. We're going to talk a little bit about Will Swim, and then as soon yeah, they cut more than just nerves to my tongue. As soon as Wayne has figured out the audio portion, he'll come back on and then tell us, because he had a pretty exciting day today. He had a lot going on. He'll tell us what it is that he's been up to today, because he's been up to quite a bit, I got to tell you. He's got a lot going on. Let me say hello to Michael as well as Doc. Thank you so very much for joining us, Counterpunch Media. I guess that's kind of goes without saying, but thank you, Counterpunch Media, very much. So we're getting ready. It's Monday night. I don't know. Did it seem like Sunday to you all? Probably. It did for me. So it was like all day long. I wasn't really ramped up. I wasn't really sure what we were doing. And so I didn't check in with Wayne as often as I normally do. So, Wayne, let's do this. When you're ready to come back on and tell us a little bit about what you've been working on today, then we'll have you back on. Don't forget, bottom of the hour, we'll be taking your calls. You can head on over. But in the interim, you can text us at 833-667-8251. If you like, of course, that's 833-MORTAL-1, MORTAL, and the numeral 1.
Okay, Echo's gone.
Echo's gone. Well, thank you, Wayne, very much. So now that Wayne's back, busy handling all the technical glitches. So, Wayne, what else have you been working on today?
Well, I've been doing a lot of research to see what's been going on out there.
Oh, all right.
And
cool.
I came across a few interesting scenarios, a couple of ads that were very interesting.
Oh, cool.
Some graphics that I thought were pretty cool.
Well, you're the graphic guy. That makes perfect sense to me. All right, so what do you got?
Well, first off, we'll go ahead with this video.
I heard something.
And it has to do about the debate. And if you look at the video, they can't even get the colors correct for the Democrat and the Republican.
Oh, that's right.
But we'll definitely be covering this stuff tomorrow night.
We're going to be covering it. So I see what you're saying. And now it finally makes sense to me. You would think that when they had President Trump's name, it would be in red. When they had a former Vice President Biden's name, it would be in blue. So I get that. So the debate, the Presidential Commission on Debates, listen, I don't know. Let's ask Jennifer real quick, or ask Brian. I like the idea of Joe Rogan doing the debate. Right? And since they're always, well, take him out behind the back of the schoolyard and beat him up, or, well, I could take him with one hand tied behind my back. I think Joe should set up a little cocktail table just outside of an octagon, right? And let's settle this thing once and for all the way we used to. Let's have like dueling banjos. Let Joe Rogan do the debate, and we all go from there. I think that would be huge to watch, but I guess the Presidential Commission on Debates isn't going to give that up, are they?
Well, let me give you a little piece of information that came out today about Joe Rogan and Spotify. You know, he just signed that multi-million-dollar contract.
Yes, sir.
With Spotify.
Yes, he did.
Well,
and aren't they all set?
Apparently, the Spotify employees are threatening to go on strike if they don't drop his show.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe we could get a gig at Spotify then, since it sounds like there might be some openings before too long. I have to tell you, can I give you this theory? Jennifer says totally. Thank you, Jennifer, very much. I've been in, not very many times, but in a few times, I've been in position in my life to hire someone, but I've never fired someone. And people go, you've never fired anyone? No. Let me make sure I'm clear. I've let plenty of people go. I've freed all kinds of people to find their passion. Because if your lack of passion causes you to mess up, or your lack of passion causes you to overstep your bounds, or your lack of passion causes you somehow to mess up at work, all I want to do is be the guy. I don't want to be the speed bump, right, Wayne? I don't want to fire anybody. I just want to remove the speed bump. I want to set you free, right? I want to set you free to find the job that you are passionate about. Like this morning, I'm driving in a particular part of Ohio, and there's heavy-duty construction going on, and they have a red light and a green light, right, to mark the intersection. And when it's red, the cars get to go down what's the single lane now because the construction people are working in one lane or the other. So the light turns red, and you stop, let the other traffic through, like a single-lane bridge almost, right, Wayne? The light turns red, and you stop, assuming the light on the other side is green so the other people can go. Well, I'm there like 2 minutes, and I hear people laying on the horn. I see people in the rearview mirror and in front of me. They're just pounding on the dashboard, throwing their hands out the windows. I'm thinking, what is this, a rally, right? What's happening here alongside the street? Well, what happened is the guy directing traffic would call for you to come when the light was red and make you stop when the light was green, right? And all I ended up saying when I called it in to 911 was that there's going to be a head-on accident here. Then the local police are really going to be busy because this guy at the other end doesn't know the difference between a red light and a green light and how this light is actually making his job easier. So for me, right? For me, it's like find another job that you dig. If you don't have enough passion about directing traffic that you know red means stop and green means go, right? Then you got to pack it in. Find something else. I don't know, maybe interior decorating. There's something else going on. But I don't know. Let me say hello to Paul. Paul, nice to see you. Michael as well. Thank you so very much. I'll give Michael a quick invite here. Thank you for joining us, Doc and Wayne and Jennifer, Brian. Thank you so very much. So that's my theory, Wayne. I don't fire people. I don't want people at Spotify fired. But if the people, the bigwigs, make that kind of commitment to Joe Rogan, paid him all kinds of money, no doubt these same people that are threatening to quit are the ones doing these videos now that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, God rest her soul, may she rest in peace, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has checked out and gone on to the afterlife. These people screaming, hollering, spitting, you know what I mean, pounding the steering wheel, yelling at their camera, then posting the video to YouTube. Probably the same type of people, right, over at Spotify, I'm thinking. They don't like Joe Rogan. Hey, Paul, nice to see you, brother. Thank you. Or at least nice to see your avatar. Hey to you as well, right? If these are the people at Spotify, well, I'm just going to hold my breath until I get what I want. If they keep Joe Rogan, I'm out of here. Yeah, let me get this straight. Joe Rogan, or they're going to let you go. Joe Rogan, they're going to let you go. They're going to whoa. Kids, you should be looking for another job. If you're that triggered that you don't want Joe Rogan over at Spotify, because you're not going to get the brag anymore that you work at Spotify. We're at Spotify, Wayne, aren't we?
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. I'm not upset about Joe Rogan coming over to Spotify. God love him. And I think he ought to do the presidential debates. I think it would be great. Can you imagine, like a ring announcer? Let's get ready to rumble. And then that's the maybe it'll happen tomorrow night. We don't know. Now just, the 24 and 26 and a half hours away. It's just going to be great. All right, Wayne, so we know that the Presidential Commission on Debates messed up with the colors, right? Probably busy. Those will be the ones saying, well, we don't want Joe Rogan doing the debate and we're going to quit. Well, look, anyone that's colorblind, apparently, we need you to quit in advance anyways. So what else have you been working on today? Well, I start chuckling right away. Just knowing you, I start to laugh before
I went ahead and I continued to do some research and looking for some interesting stuff. And I found the process that Joe Biden's going through right now.
Oh, like debate prep?
Yeah, all for his debate prep.
Oh, for his debate prep. Okay, cool.
So I'm going to just go through real quickly what we found.
All right. Like a parade of images or what you're going to do. And then you're going to talk over these images. A parade of images. Okay, I'm very excited.
Okay, so here's the first one here.
Okay.
And this is Joe Biden trying to plug all the holes in the dike for everything that's gone on in the past 42 years.
And here's Hillary. Hillary's up on the wall. What is that? Like the breaker of the wall. He's trying around in her little rowboat.
He's trying to keep the dike from falling over.
Oh, so Z Biden.
Yep.
Let me see. You got groping. You got malarkey. I like that word. It's like mashugana without the Yiddish. Hair sniffing. That should be right up top. Plagiarism. Endless gaffes. Sex scandal. Pro-war. Oh, medical decline. Maybe that should be up there with hair sniffing. China. There's no way China and Ukraine should be below graft. It should be top of the wall. And he's saying, don't worry, it's all under control. Right? It reminds me, you know who it reminds me of?
What's that?
Remember Kevin Bacon in Animal House when he was the National Guard guy?
Yeah.
Kevin Bacon, all is well, all is well. And then you look back and Kevin Bacon's been run over by the mob. Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. All right, so he's trying to hold his fingers in the dike of the corruption, or holding back the wall of corruption.
He is. So after he gets through holding up the dike.
Right. What else we got?
Now it's time, for prep. Let's get prep for this debate.
Very important, I'm told.
Well. Oh. And here's Donald Trump asking if he's ready. Asking Camilla if he's ready for the debate.
I like it.
Seems like he likes his Red Bull.
Now, with all due respect to Jennifer, I'm with her. Right? If you have Diet Coke, you need a good rum to go with it. I absolutely agree with that. But I have to tell you, if you're going to drink Red Bull, it's got to be with a good vodka.
And after, yeah.
Here's a Hunter pipe.
Now that Camilla gets him ready to go,
right.
Here he is on the debate stage.
Is he ready? Oh, I can't hear what Jill is telling me to say. Slow the damn teleprompter down. I can't keep up. We got a problem here. Or he's saying, I'm the guy. Yeah. I'm the guy, right? I'm the guy. Absolutely. No, it was Al Gore that invented the internet. I'm sorry. Not Al Gore, I think, right? Wasn't it him?
Yes, it was.
Okay, so slow the teleprompter down. I can't keep up. Look, Wayne, what else? Do you have anything other before we kind of go off on this a little bit?
No, only on the first two graphics.
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Ben Garrison. Ben Garrison he's a political cartoonist.
All right.
And his cartoons represent anything that is not politically correct.
Not politically correct. Correct. I see that. All right, good.
And you can see a lot of his work out at his webpage, which is grrrgraphics.com.
So GRRR, then the word graphics. So like graphics.com. Well, maybe you can throw it up in the feed here if anyone wants to see it, because those were fantastic. All right, so before we get to the bottom of the hour, now just what do we got? We got about 10 minutes before you open up the phone lines. Let me just say, because someone asked me, a couple different people asked me today, I need to say hello to Michael that was at the gas station when I pulled up with the Mortal Up mobile marketing van. A quick shout out to Michael. Thank you so very much for coming up and saying hello this morning and all the compliments on the show. I super appreciate it. But one of the conversations that Michael and I had, and I was able to find gas for $1.89 a gallon, so I wasn't able to stay there that long, right? It's not like I was pumping all kinds of gas, and I got a good break on it too. One of the points that I wanted to make, and I know, Wayne, you were talking a little bit, and Brian has made mention of it before as well, is that when we go after one political party or another, it's with this concept that I don't like bullies. I don't like Democratic bullies. I don't like Republican bullies. I don't like the legislative Leviathan. I don't like the bureaucratic behemoth. So for me, I always go against those things, against those institutions, against those pundits, against those people that do nothing more than try to water down human wherewithal. And if you've been following the show, Barbara, nice to see you. Thank you so very much for joining us. I like to go ahead and say, I'll stand in the way of anyone that stands in the way of you, as I've said. So I don't particularly care for anyone that tries to pillage human potential. And I think for me, it's just easy this time of year to talk about politics. But when there isn't an election year, I'm talking about major corporations. I'm talking about big tech. I'm talking about, as I said, the bureaucratic behemoth, the legislative leviathan, even if there isn't an election involved. But I've always been the one, and from the very beginning of time, and it was nice to see Gail pop in a little bit earlier, my publicist that got me the first time I had ever been on Good Morning America, or The Early Show, or the New York Times for that matter. First time I had ever been on a major television network and major newspapers across the country. If I got it, it was because of Gail's fine efforts. And she reminded me that you've always stood up to bullies. You've always stood up to people that try to push other people around. And all I'm here to say is that if you're a public servant for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, you're a scam artist. Get a real job, right? Do something other than pillage human potential. They say hi quickly to Gary and to Doc. Thank you so very much for the like, right? So what I've found is that, and maybe that's why I went into law enforcement. I don't know. All kinds of shrinks have tried to crack, pre-tumor crack me. Maybe that's why I went into law enforcement. I just don't like bullies. I don't like them on the playground. I don't like them in the voting booth. I just don't care for people that think they're so tough they can look down their noses at other people and they can push other people around. So it's easy in the election season because politicians, as I mentioned earlier, there's a report out, a study out, StudyFind, I believe it is, studyfind.org maybe, Wayne. I had posted it earlier that says that career politicians are the epitome of narcissists. Really? Never saw that coming. The epitome of narcissistic egomaniacs. So when people say, well, are you pro-Trump or are you pro-Biden or are you pro the libertarian woman running? I don't even know, right? I've even spoken at the Libertarian National Convention, the nominating convention. I can't, I don't know. Who knows, right? But for me, it's always been if you're going to bully people, if you're going to push people around. And one of the reasons that I first looked and started to have anything nice to say about President Trump at all way back when was I liked the fact he wasn't a career politician. I like the fact that he didn't train his whole life, at least so he says, didn't train his whole life to be a politician. Anyone that's been in the legislature for 20, 30, 40 years, right? They're on the lam from real labor. People say, oh, well, there's just such a tremendous public servant. No, they're not. They're not. You want to serve the public? Get out and let some fresh blood in from time to time. But look at it. Look at Feinstein. Look at who was it? Robert Byrd from West Virginia. Look at any of them that have stayed for so. Strom Thurmond is another one. I remember once watching Strom Thurmond have to be rolled in a wheelchair. Wayne, do you think you and I are going to be able, will someone roll us into a wheelchair to be able to do what we do for a living?
Nope. We're on our own.
Think about it. And look, I'm getting up there in years. I don't mean to offend anyone that's substantially older than me, but if you're 85 years old or you've earned the right to kick back and relax is all I'm saying. You've earned the right to go, yeah, you know what? I'm going to retire. I'm going to enjoy life. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, right? You deserve it. But to sit around and go, I've been a public servant. I deserve. Hillary Clinton thought she deserved to be elected. Deserved. When you got Benghazi wrapped around your neck, what do you think you deserve? When you've got some of the things. Now, look, it's not to say that anyone is above the law. It's not to say that anyone is smoking ivory, right? That anyone is perfect. But I'm not electing a priest. I'm not electing a preacher. I'm not electing a God. I'm not electing Santa Claus. So you have all these things. Good evening, Karen. Thank you so very much for joining us. GKH, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Nice to see your avatar pop up. Hope you're doing well. Right? So for me, people go, well, you're not always going to find the perfect person. I'm not asking the perfect person. I want you to secure the borders and get out of the way so that regular folk just don't do anything that allows human wherewithal to be watered down. Well, he's certainly not a choir boy. Certainly not a choir girl. Great to hear. I didn't ask for that. I didn't ask for a king. It's disgusting watching all these people, which is why we first wrote wing sauce, Wayne, right? You talk about whether it's left wing or right wing. Doesn't matter, because underneath it all, it's still a chicken. I like the idea of being able to live my life. So when I saw the article today and it said, oh, well, if you're a career politician, right, they could put right next, career politician comes up as a synonym for narcissistic egomaniac. I don't know if a lot of people do. That's a fun little fact. Oh, also, hey, sales are clipping along for the skateboarder spray over at mortalup.com. Swing by if you haven't had an opportunity yet. I don't even know what the poll is that's up there today. A little bit of a slow start for me to the week because I'm all giddy. I'm all excited about the debate tomorrow night. I'm just like you. This is going to be fantastic. So head on over to mortalup.com. You'll see a little bit about our, like I said, our skateboard spray. There it is, skateboard repellent. You never can tell. All I'm saying is if you're out enjoying dinner with your family, someone rolls up. They never roll up. These people don't even know how to ride skateboards, right? Who are they, like Ben Stiller? What was that movie where he rides down the mountain to get away from the the volcano erupting? What was the name of that movie? You know, he was a guy who fixed pictures all the time for a magazine, Life magazine, and Sean Penn was in it, photographing snow leopards. I forget, not Incredible Mr. Limpet. Forget I said it. But in any event, right? You ever notice these people with skateboards? They just use them, right? They don't actually roll on them. They just have them under their arm. I think a skateboard's the new weapon of choice amongst the left. I really do. So skateboard repellent, if you're out, you're enjoying dinner, and you're like, I'm just going to kick back with my husband, my wife, my family, my significant other. Hey, if you want to kick back, go to a restaurant that allows your dog to eat. You ought to be able to do it without some nut in a bullhorn walking up, asking you to do some type of philosophical and physical gymnastics just to show support for whatever it is they're yammering on and on and on about. So we have skateboard repellent. Don't forget, buy it in a six-pack, and they make great stocking stuffers as well. So, Wayne, thank you so very much. Wayne says it's Ben Garrison, political cartoonists, and he put the web address up in the feed, grrrgraphics.com. If you're interested, please head on over, and he can get you the link there, but they're very, very funny. All right, we're going to get ready to run to the bottom of the hour. We're going to be taking your calls. Don't forget, you can also text us here, 833-667-8251. Super appreciate. Oh, that's very nice. So we just got a text. Yes, I do enjoy this. So thank you very much. I look forward to it. And here's the reason why. I truly believe in human potential, and I truly believe in your ability to chart any course you want. And anyone that gets in the way of you charting that course, I'm going to have an issue with. I'm going to have some trouble with. And I think career politicians are bullies. And I think ultimately they stand in the way of true human potential, stand in the way of your ability to mortal up. And I don't think they want everyone to mortal up because you can't control someone that's pulled the sword from the stone, knows exactly what it is here in the labyrinth of life, knows exactly what it is they're supposed to do with the time they have left on this planet. Politicians don't want to see that. If they have to confront that, then it's going to be like, wow, these people are something else. We can't control them. We got to water them down at every turn. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back after this short break, and then we'll be taking your calls. Thanks so very much for joining us in what we call Radio Bry. You can reach us at radiobry.com. Thank you, Wayne, very much. Radiobry.com, of course, the Brian Brawdy Show. We will be right back after this short break. All right, we are back, and you know I'm checking through the feed here. Our good friend Henry says, here's to the close of another wonderful day. Blessings, everyone. Beautiful sunset. Beautiful sunset where he is. Henry, thank you so very much. What a great post. Also, say hello quickly, Sheila. Nice to see you. Thank you so very much. All right, Wayne, so here's what we're doing. We're going to open the phone lines here shortly, but let's go one more time. The presidential debates now, just a little more than 24 hours away. You want to throw up that commercial again? Now, this was created by the Presidential Debate Committee, yes?
Absolutely.
All right, let's see what they have to say.
That's why it caught my eye.
Yeah, I imagine it would. All right, don't forget, check your local listings for the greatest moment in television history. Well, until, of course, they have a second one. Let's hope they have a second one. With or without Joe Rogan, I hope they have a second one, because I just believe people have the right to know what's going on, right? You ought to be able to mix it up on live TV. You ought to be able to mix it up without a teleprompter. You ought to be able to mix it up and handle anything incoming. It used to be popular, Wayne. Do you remember last election, or maybe the election before, or the election before that? Well, if you get a call at 2 a.m. and you had the nuclear codes, well, one, I hope you'd wake up, maybe take a shower, get a cup of coffee, something to bring yourself back, maybe some sniffing salts, something to revive yourself. But everyone will talk about, well, what happens if that call, am I qualified to take the call if it comes in at 2 a.m? So I think these presidential debates are important for that reason alone. I think we ought to be able to figure out, who do we really want to vote for? Now, I know, what is it, it's not a swimsuit competition, Mr. Congeniality. I don't want any of that. I like the idea of someone that can get in there and mix it up and make sure that no one bullies you, that no one attempts to water down your human wherewithal. That's what I want in a candidate. And if I could have it to where, you know what I mean, they haven't been doing the job for 400 years, that would be helpful as well. All right, Wayne, let's go ahead and open the phone lines if you would, sir.
The phone lines are open. Now's your chance to mortal up and give Brian a shout, because your opinion deserves to be heard. Dial toll-free 1-833-MORTAL-1. That's 833-MORTAL-1.
And, of course, the hieroglyphics are such that would be 833-667-8251. 833-667-8251 comes right here into the studio. And, of course, Wayne, thank you very much, Wayne, threw it up over in the feed. He gives you the call or text and then the phone number. So if you have a chance, give us a holler. We'd love to know what you're thinking about, how you're preparing for the debate, right? Because it's now, 25 and a half hours away from the great. This is greater than the Emmys, I'm told. I never watched the Emmys. Or the Oscars, or the, Golden Globes, I think it's called. I never watched any of those. I couldn't, like I mentioned about George Clooney the other day. Really, when I read that, I thought it was Coney, right? I thought it was the Supreme. I totally missed it, right? But all these people. Oh, you know what, Wayne? Would you mind throwing up for me again before we take a call? Would you throw up our Maleficent 7 for the week? Did I read right past that? Let me go to that, because I needed to add John Legend. What is he? A singer, actor, somebody? John Legend, who's threatening to leave. He's going to leave the United States if the election doesn't go his way. But then I saw an article that just said he dropped 20 or 30 million on a mansion in California. So let's hope he can sell that before he starts packing his bags. But the Maleficent 7, of course, you recognize it as a play on the Magnificent 7. And, of course, why wouldn't Hunter Biden lead the list? He better hope his dad gets elected just so he doesn't end up in hot water. John Oliver calling the nomination of President Trump to the Supreme Court, Amy Coney Barrett, calling it Wayne tells me I have to clean up my language here, but let's just say an effing travesty. John Oliver, he's a comedian. What does he know? Listen to his comedy. That's the travesty. Representative Omar. And if I remember correctly, let me say hello to my good friend Dan. Dan, nice to see you. Thank you so very much for joining us. let me just say, I think about you a good bit more often than we speak. So I hope all is well with you and your beautiful family. So we have Omar, and I think, Wayne, didn't you say something to me? She's in hot water for, other than for all kinds of other things. Isn't she in hot water for something now? Just ballots or something or other?
Her people, all her groups have been basically doing ballot harvesting.
Oh, ballot harvesting. Now, is that like harvesting corn or apples? What is ballot harvesting? For those that don't know exactly what that means, what is that?
It's basically gathering up, going out in the streets and collecting people's ballots.
Oh, nothing could go wrong there.
No, nothing can go wrong.
Nothing could go wrong there. And then making halfway on the list, she seems to be a perennial favorite for the Maleficent Seven, a perennial favorite. Of course, Representative Nancy Pelosi.
Well, she's on the list because of what she does every time she opens her mouth.
Look, I'm just going to say this one time. Masks, COVID-19 is the greatest thing that happened to Nancy because she's got an excuse to hide her neck by always wearing that scarf. You ever seen a picture of her without a mask or a scarf? All I'm saying is she's got to dig the fact that from time to time she has to wear a scarf or a mask. Oh, and the New York Crimes. New York Crimes makes the list. And here's the reason that I feel, and all kinds of people will be mad. You'll see, Wayne. All kinds of people will be offended that we called it the New York Crimes. Why would we call it the crimes? Well, and it can only happen in the Big Bad Apple. And by Big Bad Apple, I mean big question mark. Bad Apple, kind of hyphenated even, but the Bad Apple large size, right? The New York Crimes, because do I understand this correctly? Are you allowed to leak people's tax information without their permission? How does that work, Wayne? I'm not an attorney, so I don't know.
Well, I'm kind of curious about this one myself.
All right.
I mean, the Supreme Court ruled that the district attorney in New York can have access to Trump's tax records.
Right.
They also ruled that Congress cannot.
Ooh. Well, would you trust anyone in Congress?
And
I wouldn't give them a dinner order. I wouldn't think they could get a to-go order mixed up perfectly or mashed up. I wouldn't trust them with anything.
Well, if the story is true in the New York Times, that means somebody in the New York District Attorney's office had to leak the information to the New York Times. But from what I understand is everybody is denying it.
Everyone's denying it, including the New York Crimes. Because I would imagine to disseminate it is a crime. So whether you report it to the New York Crimes or you publish it on behalf of the New York Crimes, it's probably still a crime. So I thought that was very timely for you to put a slash through Times and put crimes down. I thought it was very timely. Good job.
Well, we've been calling it the New York Crimes for quite some time now.
Yes, I have, haven't we? All right, so, look at our top two, or the bottom two on the Maleficent Seven. Jessica Tarlov, I happened by accident to hear her yesterday. She's a shrieking, shrill Fran Drescher as the nanny. Now, when Fran's out of character, maybe her voice isn't that shrill, but Jessica Tarlov, please find some other profession. It makes your ears bleed. And then, of course, Jeffrey Toobin, the CNN Circus News Network, as you and I know, the Circus News Network legal expert or legal correspondent or legal something.
Contributor.
A legal contributor, is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's amazing to listen to him. Like, if you listen to Jonathan Turley, look, you just listen to some of the people that seem to go 50-50, right? Go one way one time, one way the other time. But Toobin is just too much. Jeffrey Too Much Toobin rounds out, I guess is the word I'm looking for, our Maleficent Seven for this evening. Hunter Biden, John Oliver, Rep. Omar, Rep. Pelosi, the New York Crimes, taking a bite out of the Big Apple. Jessica Tarlov and Jeffrey Toobin as well. Wayne, thank you very much. Okay, don't forget the phone lines are now open, 833-MORTAL and the numeral 1. It's toll free, so I'm told. If they bill you, just call me. I'll drop you a couple quarters in the mail. And you can text us also at 833-667-8251. Thank you for all the compliments. We super appreciate it. And the different people. Oh, thank you very much. And let me also say hi to Gary Park. Thank you, sir, very much for stopping by, giving us a quick shout and then going about your day. So thank you very much for that as well. So before we get to Mortal Up this evening, this whole thing about the election, this whole thing about all the craziness coming up over the weekend, the FBI, they did this, they did that, right? All these people that have been like, oh yeah, we were gunning for Trump. Some of the FBI agents that are amongst themselves going, you better get legal counsel. You better get some cover. You better figure out how this is going to, what we're going to do, because this isn't right. This isn't good. This is kind of bad. And these are the people that we elect. These are the people that we hang with. These are the people that we entrust to run the show. Really? Seriously? It's like sometimes you wonder what the teachers say, and you go, this is the intellect we're tasking with raising our kids? This is what it's all about? Are you kidding? Really? These are the people we decide. No matter what storm blows in, no matter how high the hurdles they set for us, you and I, as we said to start the show, we'll swim. We'll make it. But every so often, could we catch a little bit of a break? But then again, as you've heard me say before, it's no one's fault but our own. These are the people we elect. These are the people that we put in power. So I have a new theory that I'm working on, Wayne. I think a majority of people love their life to such a degree they just want to live it. And all the political hacks, all the pundits, everyone else that wants to, get involved in the wing sauce, everyone else that wants to get into the fray, everyone that, in some way, shape, or form has something negative to say about the whole thing. The rest of us just want to be happy. We want to live life. We're thrilled to be here, thrilled to do whatever it takes to make it work. And then you get the people that go, let's try to chop block them, because these people, they have no personal power of their own. So, and again, this is very scientific, for everyone screaming science, a very scientific report, right? Narcissists, career politicians, one and the same, can't have one without the other. Tomato, tomato, talking about the same thing. These power-hungry egomaniacs want to control you because they have no control over their own lives. They wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what to do if they had to get a real job. I saw something today, a former somebody or other in the government says, well, I don't think the president has the intellect or the maturity. And I go, well, I wouldn't be throwing stones if I were you. You don't have the intellect and maturity. You're a politician, for God's sakes. So I think for me, I've started to reframe it in my mind. That's what's happening, Wayne, is that everybody and their brother is absolutely thrilled to be enjoying life, right? To be loving their friends, time with their family, all of it. So I came across this text today, and I just want to read it because I think it's too much to put up, in terms of, you know what I mean? In terms of putting a graphic up on the web. So I just thought, you know what? I'll read it. Now, this is from the European Union, and we're going to be talking about this more. We'll probably be talking about it tomorrow night a good bit before we lead up to the show. But this is just last year from the European Union, and I thought this was really something, one of the bigwigs. And this is an exact quote. And he's talking about the European Union. Well, good evening, Miss Putnam. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. So the head of the European Union says, we decree. Don't you love that word, decree? Decree. We decree something, then float it, and wait some time to see what happens. If no clamor arises because most people fail to grasp what we've decided, most people fail to grasp what you and me were too gullible? It's too hard for us to figure out. Oh, us poor little electorate. Talk about that, weakening your wherewithal, enriching the few while endangering everybody else. But, right, because most people, that's like you and me. We're too stupid, right? We're too gullible to know what they're talking about. So it says, if no clamor arises because most people fail to grasp what has been decided, we continue step by step until the point of no return is reached. Again, head of the European Union for like 10 years, given us the perfect definition of how they try to scam us, right? And why I'm so excited when we talk about it, about having a show, not only being the countervail for human amnesia, right? And the debate between the Lord of the Bungle and the president. I love this idea of being like having a scalpel-like scrutiny. They say good evening to Barth. Barth, thank you so very much for joining us. We were talking about bringing a scalpel-like scrutiny to what the politicians are trying to do. Let me read it again. We decree something, then float it, and wait some time to see what happens. See if we can get it right. Okay, now, off quote. See if we can get it through without anyone catching us. Picking the quote back up. If no clamor arises, because most people fail to grasp what has been decided. So, and these are politicians. These are people. This is the bureaucratic behemoth. This is the legislative leviathan. Because most of us fail to grasp what they've decided for us. Quote continues, we continue step by step until the point of no return is reached. What do you think that means? The point of no return. What are they talking about? Well, they're clearly talking about you and I not having the ability to be able to figure out what shenanigans they're up to. So it's unfortunate, but you and I have to bring a scalpel-like scrutiny to everything going on because it's a kabuki theater. It's a bait and switch. They're going to try whatever they can to get through whatever they can, right? Because if you and I don't clamor about it, which is why I'm convinced all the technical, the social media and this and that. So, look, I begin to believe that social media is really nothing more than a re-education camp. The brilliant difference is in China, you get dragged off to a re-education camp. Here on Mug Pamphlet, Google, Twitter, LinkedIn to a certain degree, wherever you want, you're hooked by the AI. You're hooked by the algorithm. You're hooked just like a slot machine at Vegas, with all the bells and the whistles and the vibration and this and that. And, oh, you'll get a like or you'll get a share or we'll do this or we'll do that. It's still like, right, a re-education center. It's just that we voluntarily come to Facebook, come to Twitter, come to social, come to Google, come to all these places. So it's the re-education that we belly up to the bar to get. And that's why I'm so excited. Mortal up. All right, thank you, Wayne, very much. Wayne's flashing me the Mortal Up signal. Oh, look at that, 10 till. All right, so let's talk about Mortal Up. You and I will swim. Let's stand up to these people. Let's stand up to these nut jobs. Mortal Up. As I said to Mike this morning when I was getting my gas. Thank you, Mike, very much. Glad you're listening. As I said to Mike this morning, Mortal Up is about just refuse to take crap from anybody. Refuse to have your wherewithal watered down because they figure, well, if nobody clamors, if nobody says anything, we can go ahead and we'll do this as a trade. We can't get the law through, so we'll do tariff reform. We'll do this. We'll do that, right? Well, let's scam the masses, right? Let's let the maniacs running the show scam the masses. And by the time they realize, according to the quote, by the time the masses realize what we've done to them, it'll be the point of no return. It'll be too late. So Mortal Up is when you draw your line in the sand and you go, you know what? I've had just about enough, crap weasel. No more. You say, yeah, I'm going to swim against the current. I'm going to swim against everything you're trying to pull off. And I'm not going to tolerate it anymore. Look, as far as everything goes with the election that's coming up, vote for whoever you want. Because Wayne and I say all the time, I think the decisions are already made. But what will happen in the aftermath, regardless of who wins, is it'll be on you and me to stand up and go, I'm not going to take this anymore. I'm not going to be submarined. I'm not going to have my wherewithal watered down. I'm going to bring a scalpel-like scrutiny to all the crap they try to pull. And it's that scrutiny that holds their feet to the fire, that holds them accountable. Sorry, I was supposed to mention if you want to give us a call, 833-MORTAL and the numeral 1. Of course, you can also text us as you have been. Thank you very much. 833-667-8251. Yeah, but come on. I understand, but you've got a great voice. Come on. You don't have to text. You can call in as well. All we're doing is talking about, let's say this, the maniacs versus the masses. And it's my opinion that the one percenters, the maniacs trying to run the show, the ones busy looking down on the rest of us, the ones going, oh, don't worry, as long as they don't clamor, let's try to sneak this in underneath them, right? It's like when we were little kids, we used to get aspirin inside of grape jelly, except this isn't even good for you. They try to package this crap in grape jelly and then feed it to us, knowing that by the time we go, oh, man, that stuff's horrible tasting, they'll go, too late. Point of no return. Can't do anything about it, jerky. You were too gullible for too long. That's all I'm suggesting, is let's not put up with any of their crap anymore and decide exactly what it is we're going to do. Because, believe me, these maniacs, they want to plunder your potential because they realize exactly what will happen if you mortal up. Good evening to Gene. Gene, thank you for joining us. They realize what will happen if you mortal up and that's why when we created the logo, you've got the crown. If in your authentic vigor, your buried logic, your natural resources, they know if you were to channel those things, you'd be unstoppable. And the last thing that would stand in your way is a crap weasel politician. I don't care what party they're from. And when we talk about, isn't this, I say all the time, it's the greatest time in the history of the world to be alive. Why is it? Because I love people. I love watching people screaming at their steering wheel, pounding, and then putting it up on Twitter. If you're such that outside events can make your head explode, I say, go ahead and explode, right? Makes more room for the rest of us that are normally adjusted. If you can be triggered, maligned, offended, outraged, if you need a bubble, you need a safe space, do us all a favor and go find your safe space somewhere else. And that's the beauty of what's getting ready to happen, is that you and I get to bring, as I call it, the scalpel-like scrutiny to exactly the wool that they're, what is it? My grandmother used to say, don't let them pull the wool over your eyes. Well, that's what politicians do. Politicians are professional wool pullers. Wayne, we'll have to listen to that tape later. I like that. Politicians are professional wool pullers. That's what they do. It's all bait and switch. It's all kabuki theater. Except you and I, one day, we're going to have to admit that if we don't mortal up, we're passing it on to our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids. We're passing it on to future generations because you and I refuse to stand up and do something about it now. That's why the whole concept of mortal up, and I promised I was going to get to this today, and I'm sorry. Let me text you back. I'm sorry that we were going to get to this, but starting tomorrow, we will be, and what is it called, Wayne? It's called, don't tell me, I'll get it, Strava, Strava. Wayne's working around the clock on it, but Strava, I'm going to be going out, dragging our new mobile marketing facility, Wayne showed the video last week, our new trailer that I pull behind on the bicycle, working on my spare tire, spreading the word and working on the spare tire at the same time. We're going to start that tomorrow. Oh, here it is, Wayne. We'll watch that real quick. Oh, there it is. We'll be starting tomorrow morning, and our goal is 20 miles a day, right? So Tuesday through Saturday, we'll be doing 20 miles a day and just trying to get out there. Plus, I just love the exercise. It's great being, out and about. So we'll be going all winter long, 20 miles a day, 5 days a week to spread the mortal up word. Sheila, good evening. Thank you so very much for joining us. Nice to see your icon pop up, as always. Kind of like the virtual reality picture of Sheila. Nice to see you. So we're going to be dragging the Mortal Up facility behind us, the marketing facility. We'll be passing out koozies, bumper stickers. We've got all kinds of cool swag for the people that come up. Nice mobile vehicle. Well, thank you, Sheila, very much. And Itsu. Woo-hoo. Yes, thank you very much. I super appreciate that. We'll be dragging that around because now you're going to go, well, wait a minute. I heard something about you now have a global marketing campaign. Yes, that's where we'll be taking the SUV and we drive it around in circles over at the international terminal at Columbus Airport, right? We keep driving around until the police chase us off is what it really boils down to. And that's our international marketing campaign. But we'll be doing that, and you'll be able to follow us on Strava. I think that's how it's pronounced, Strava. Something like that. You'll be able to follow us to make sure that we're doing the mileage. Strava, right. You'll get the temperature, you'll get the terrain, you'll get the adjustments in altitude. Michael, thank you so very much. Nice to see you. Please don't hurt yourself. Give it a month, and Biden will be looking for a job. Well, maybe I could have his, right? Because, look, let's just be honest. And it doesn't matter who the candidate is. They don't write their own stuff. It's always the speech writers. So maybe there'll be some speech writers. Maybe some of the marketing people, some of the people pushing them going, hey, look, hold off. For those people, they'll definitely be looking for a job. But in any event, I'll be careful. Looking forward to seeing you guys in a few weeks. I'll be careful. We're going to be driving around, spreading the word of Mortal Up, and we're already prepared. So if we get accosted by the police, we're already prepared. It's a protest, right? It's a protest because we think too many people are thin-skinned, hot heads wrapped in that thin skin, too many brittle brains atop balsa wood spines running around, looking to be a victim, looking to be triggered, looking to be offended, looking to be maligned in some other way. So our protest is it's time for us to mortal up and grab the reins of this thing before what did I call them, Wayne? The wool-pulling politicians get their way. All right, Wayne, sorry for running long. We're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you all so very much. We'll be back tomorrow night, just 2 hours before the kickoff of the greatest event in television history. I know you're thinking, oh, it was the Apollo launch. Oh, it was this. Oh, it was that. The man walking on the moon. No, this beats even one giant step for mankind. Houston, the Eagle has landed. It'll be landing tomorrow night at 9 Eastern. We'll be here a couple hours beforehand. Don't forget, join us over at mortalup.com. Drop us a line. Check out some of the cool things we got going over there. Thank you for listening on IPMNation.com. Of course, on YouTube. If you listen to the podcast, thank you for Spotify and iHeart and iTunes. Thank you so very much. And, of course, at Twitter, LinkedIn, and my friends and family here on Facebook. Thank you so very much for hanging out with us for the hour. And, of course, I have to thank Wayne for everything that he does. Wayne, thank you so very much. We are out.
Thanks for listening to the Brian Brawdy Show. Until next time, get out there and mortal up.